You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Woohoo! Hey everyone, welcome to another awesome episode of Ask Drone U. My name is Paul.
And I'm Rob, and it's awesome episode number 462. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's a pleasure to have you.
Can you tell I'm a little excited today, Rob?
Yes. I can tell that you're a little excited. We're all excited. Everybody's excited.
I am. I'm really excited. You know, at first I was really excited about the Inspire 2. I made that video that we put out on YouTube yesterday. But today I figured instead of torturing myself with 6 hours of editing, that we would just come out on the podcast and talk about the new Phantom 4 Pro.
That editing is tough, isn't it?
Well, when you add in all the motion graphics that I did in there and you add in all the video.
The answer is yes.
Yeah. So, and my audio was terrible the first time, and someone was like, "Oh, I can't even believe you put this out." And then I deleted the video and figured out what was wrong with my audio syncing. So I was up until 9 o'clock last night editing. So it turned into a lot more time. But anyway,
that's why we do some outsourcing.
That is exactly right. But anyway, before we get into the Phantom 4 Pro, before we get into all the cool nifty gadgets, and before we get into the professional opinion from Vic Moss on the aerial imagery out of the Phantom 4 Pro, just want to take a second to mention Drone Base, one of our awesome new sponsors here at the Ask Drone U podcast. What is Drone Base? Well, if you've got a drone in your closet, like Rob. Rob, do you have a drone in your closet?
I have a drone on my countertop.
Have you flown it a few times?
Not as much as I should.
Have you thought about using it for money?
I have thought about using it for money, but I haven't used it for money.
Well, then you would love Drone Base because Drone Base connects businesses with aerial data and pilots. So essentially, Drone Base is like the market for pilots and businesses to get together and collaborate. And oftentimes, Drone Base is connecting pilots that normally wouldn't use their toy as a tool.
Absolutely.
And frankly, I think it's an awesome thing. There are jobs around you right now. If you go to dronebase.com, you can actually pull up all those little jobs. There's everything from little panos to do to actual inspections. I mean, you name it, it's the place to get business if you're just starting out as a drone pilot because frankly, there's a lot of work to be done, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a new program actually where you can go to their website. And by the way, do us a favor and go to go.dronebase.com/droneu. That would help us out. That will help you out. That will help them out. And I think everybody will win. But they've got a really cool system where you can go look at your area and just see, as we understand it, there are jobs all over the place. You can go fly them, and then if somebody picks them up, you're going to get paid. So it's a pretty cool system.
Go.dronebase.com/droneu.
That's it.
I'm checking it right now.
You got it.
Become a pilot and get paid to fly your drone. How it works. Upload. See what you want to see. Why should you join us? And look, there's Nick, Director of Operations, saying, what's up? Awesome. Dronebase.com/droneu. You got to check it out. But anyway, let's get right into the Phantom 4. Did you guys see the footage from DJI? Check it out. I'm actually really excited about the Phantom 4 Pro, Rob, here for just a few quick reasons before we go into the details and everything. I've got to say, I love the fact that we can now shoot 4K at 60 frames per second at 100 megabit per second bit rate. So we're getting a lot of detail there.
So that's quite an upgrade.
That's a significant upgrade.
Yeah.
And just really shortly, why? 4K 30, if you're moving really, really fast, you can actually have, a significant issue with getting nice, smooth footage, and that's kind of a problem. I mean, I really do think it is a problem in a really important sense. Before, you were limited by how fast you could go, but also you were limited in how you could edit your footage. So you could only really, speed up for the footage for speed ramps. You couldn't really slow it down. So now you can speed the footage up, you can slow the footage down, but also you're getting a much nicer image because it's a bigger sensor and there's a mechanical shutter, so we're not having that rolling shutter effect anymore. So overall, yes, I think it is a significant upgrade. And I mean, it's sporting some of the same specs as the new X4S camera on the Inspire 2. And frankly, I think you're getting a much better deal for the money to buy the Phantom 4 Pro, because also you can use your batteries from your Phantom 4. There are
Oh, you can. They're interchangeable.
They are interchangeable, but I do want to mention there is actually a few differences between the two batteries themselves. The Phantom 4 battery, let me pull this up really quick, is a 50 Phantom 4 battery is a 5350 milliamp hour battery, so 5350 milliamps, versus the Phantom 4 Pro battery, which is 5870 milliamp hours, or milliamps, excuse me.
Okay.
So you're going to get a little bit more flight time out of it. So
they're talking 25 to 30 minutes now is what they're saying?
They are talking, but I will say, unlike the Inspire 2, the Phantom 4 does not have self-heating batteries, so you're not going to get that flight time in the cold. You're not going to get that type of flight time at high altitude. So, yes, you can get that, but if you're in California or on the coast.
Yeah, in the perfect conditions, essentially.
Yes.
Which is where they test them.
Yes.
Naturally. I mean,
it's like the EPA fuel ratings.
Exactly. That's absolutely the same thing. That's what came to mind. I mean, and why wouldn't they? I mean, if it was your business, that's what you'd do too.
No,
right?
it totally would. But, with this new imaging sensor, we're talking now it's a 1-inch Cmos sensor. And the Cmos sensor is pretty much what is used on DSLRs from the Canon 7D to the 60D. It's not the exact same sensor. It's still a Cmos.
Same concept.
Well, yeah, and it's the same family of sensors, the Cmos sensor. But now, to get 20 megapixel stills out of the Phantom 4 is a significant jump from the 12 megapixels before.
Right.
And we're getting a lot more detail in the landscape, in the, the details of the images. If you really want to blow that image up and focus, on one specific part of that image, you can do it. But before I go, really further into this, I wanted to bring Vic Moss, our aerial photography instructor, to give us his professional opinion. He is a photographer, and I wanted him to show you firsthand what these images are like, what you can actually expect from the Phantom 4, and in his professional opinion, should you move up. So we're going to get to Vic Moss. And before we get to Vic, I just want to say a special thank you to VideoBlocks, one of our sponsors. VideoBlocks.com/drone 2016 will give you $100 off an annual membership to their stock video subscription-based site. It's a really cool place. Over 115,000 B-roll clips, establishing shots, transitions, segues, but also because you're buying a package with Audio Blocks and Video Blocks. Audio Blocks is a copyright-free subscription-based website as well. So if you want video and audio, just go to videoblocks.com/drone 2016 to save $100 off a package to get copyright-free audio and copyright-free video. I almost stumbled myself. I always almost stumble on these. But anyway, let's get to Vic.
Well, good morning, Paul. Thanks for having me on today. Actually, just to put it right out there, I ordered my P4P this morning, and I ever pre-order anything because I don't like being the guinea pig. So hopefully it doesn't turn into an issue, and I won't get it till next Thursday in December. But we'll see. I mean, it was when I saw the images that I got prior to the ones I've got now, it was a no-brainer for me. And having that 20 megapixel image on a 1-inch sensor was pretty cool. I was a little leery of it at first, just simply because that's an awful lot of pixels per 1-inch sensor. But it worked. It works very well, very well.
Do we know where the origin of the sensor is from? Because I know they've been using the Sony sensor for the 1/2/3, but I'm not sure what sensor they're using. I know they're saying this is a CMOS sensor, and Sony puts out a lot of cameras that shoots the A5100, for example, shoots a 20 megapixel still, and I'm wondering if this is the same sensor.
Well, one way we can probably find out is go open up the image and go to file info, and let's see if it tells us what kind of sensor it is. Camera data, it is image size resolution, doesn't say what it is there. I don't know if it's going to show me what kind of sensor it is or not, but it is, like you said, it is the CMOS, and that's a pretty nice little, I mean, that's the one that everybody uses anyway. But no, it's not showing me which sensor it is. I thought it might, but it doesn't.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's a nice sensor. It's the sensor they should have been using all along. But again,
Are you seeing significant differences in the amount of detail that you see kind of in the landscape? I mean, is this a real jump up from the Phantom 4, the regular Phantom 4?
Absolutely. And what I'm going to show you now is I pulled down the images from the DJI. You go to DJI and you go to Phantom 4 Pro, DJI.com, Phantom 4 Pro, and they actually have images you can download that'll compare the P4 against the P4P, and which is what I did. And one of the great things about it, this is one of the, I think it's a Ascension Skyline, maybe? I don't know what Skyline this is. But one of the buildings has some writing on it, and I've got the P4 1/2/3 sensor up right now, and you can barely make out the wording on this building I've got right in the middle here. And if I go to the P4P, it's clear as day. It says Somerset. Same thing down in the golf course in the foreground. In the P4P, it's much better detail than in just the P4. And it's a bigger sensor, so it would be. But it's definitely sharp, side to side, edge to edge from what I can see.
That's awesome. And again, on the P4P, we're seeing that same set of glass, 8 pieces of glass, 7 groupings. So I like to see that we're getting that nice sharp resolution with a nice big sensor. Is there any other things that you've noticed with the P4P? Any other reasons you want to give people to buy one? Any overall thoughts?
Well, the main thing is the sensor size. It really is. And it's just the more information you have in an image, the more you can do with it in post-production, which is kind of where all the magic happens anyway. You got to know when to push the button, but then you got to know what to do when you get it back in the office to do work on. So you have a lot more information to work with. It does have, at least in some of the other files I ended up with from a DJI employee, that I did not like the embedded lens profile. It seemed a little too much work for me. What I ended up doing was removing that profile and just working with my own profile, but I really like it. In the other one, which is a pre-production one I got from them, it had a little bit of chromatic aberration, which is CA, which is a little bit of green magenta shift around the edges. And I'm seeing it actually in the P4P I'm showing here. And you can see I'm using the little hand guy and circling right here. You can see a little bit of a green smear, I guess would be a good way to put it, in the sand trap here just to the left of the tree. That's easily gotten rid of in Photoshop, though, so that's not a bad deal. But if you blow it up and start looking at it, you blow it up 100%, then you'll see that stuff. The greens are still not as crisp as I'd like them to see, but that's just the nature of the beast. But yeah, I would, like I said, I ordered one this morning.
Awesome. Well, Vic, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. I know everyone really appreciates it. If we wanted to learn more about you, where would we go?
You could go to my website, which is www.mosphotography.biz. And
awesome.
You can see some of my stuff there. You can also contact me via the contact page there if you have questions.
Awesome. Well, Vic, thank you so much. As always, we appreciate it, and we will see you next time.
Absolutely. Take it easy.
Wow, Vic brings such incredible insight into this.
I love that he just dove right in, got the specs. He actually had access to some RAWs out of the camera.
Yeah, very cool.
Checking it out.
Definitely very cool. Well, I mean, he already bought one, so he beat us to the punch, Rob. How does that make you feel?
I like to hold on to my money as long as possible. Our money, I should say.
I should have asked myself, how does that make me feel?
Right.
Buy one, Rob. Buy one. Buy one.
We're going to buy one right after we finish recording this. We're going to do it.
Definitely. I do want to say, though, getting back to the Phantom 4 Pro and the differences, there really aren't many other differences, other than the camera. The motors stay pretty much the same. The props stay the same. The weight, we're going from 1,380 grams on the Phantom 4 to 1,388 grams. So it's just a slight bit heavier, but not
very slight.
Yeah, but not really that much. And I think you're going to see a little bit more weight out of the battery as well.
What about obstacle avoidance? Has that changed at all? Has that been enhanced?
It has changed. That's a great question. It has. We now have sensors on the front. We've got sensors on the back. We've got sensors on the bottom. And we also have sensors on the side. So for those pilots who had orientation problems when learning how to fly, as long as you're in GPS mode, you could be saved from the obstacle avoidance from the side or below or the back. Remember, the Inspire 2 only got obstacle avoidance additions to the top, which
Right.
was really interesting for me.
That is
So,
interesting. I don't know.
Unmanned
maybe they'll
experts will be
explain
really excited about that.
that. Inside joke. that's, that's pretty funny.
Anyway,
That's pretty funny.
if you've been listening to the podcast for quite a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, that being said, the density altitude has changed on this bad boy a little bit, which is interesting. Max service ceiling above sea level, 19,685 feet.
That's just crazy to think about. I
Well,
mean,
why would they put that on the website?
I'm seriously, because they're so staunch against where you fly, obviously, and they program it in to the app, and yet they put that on there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's like a car. It publishes top speed, right? And go 175. That doesn't mean you're
That's
telling
true.
people to go 175.
Speaking of top speed, because they've increased the pitch angle on this now, they mention the same exact speed. If you actually go into the DJI website and you'll see DJI Phantom 4, it'll say max speed 20 meters per second. That's 44.7 miles an hour. If you go to the Phantom 4 Pro, it says 45 miles an hour. But I'll be honest with you, if you have a greater tilt angle, if we have that, it's going to go a little faster.
Yeah,
So,
very cool.
But moving on, we've talked about the camera sensor. Vic talked a little bit about some CA in the camera, but that's easily fixable. We've talked about obstacle avoidance. Let's talk about the remote for a second. Now,
Let's do.
the new remote actually has a new light bridge system in it. So if you're seeing a lot of video interference issues, you can now switch from the 2.4 to the 5.8 gigahertz band. So you can actually
On the
change
fly.
the band. Yes, on the fly.
Yeah.
And thanks to some new technology from DJI, they've actually created this system where they can now send and receive control inputs and video inputs on the same frequency without having, I think it was like time divisions, like TVI or something they called it. Don't quote me on that. But I really like this because for live streaming, if you are, live streaming to a crew for the news, whatever, you're going to have much better latency and I mean, it's going to be the latency is going to be less, but you're going to have a lot better transmission signal, a lot better reliability because you're going to have options here. Because don't forget, 2.4 gigahertz, Wi-Fi operates on that. Some cell phone towers operate on that. So
Sure.
5.8 gigahertz is really going to give us a lot more flexibility. But also on the remote, notice this year that you can buy the Phantom 4 Pro. I believe, how much was it? It was like
$14.99 versus $17.99.
And $17.99 gives you the new remote screen.
Right. So the remotes are not different.
The remotes, I don't believe, are too different. No,
It's just that one is with the screen and one is not.
that is correct.
Okay.
So $14.99.
And by the way, it's about a 5.5 inch or 5.5 inch screen, similar to like a 7S Plus, right?
Yes,
Or a
so-
6S Plus, I should say.
Yeah, so it's called the Crystal Sky Monitor. It's about 2 times brighter. It's a much faster. I guess you would call it, computer than your iPhone or your iPad. The latency is less, again, on the video transmission signal. It's a brighter screen, so you can see it in the middle of the day. It's also a touch screen, so you can operate the app within the screen. So it's actually a dedicated monitor for the P4. Frankly, I think it's really cool. I think it's
So
really...
to you, checking out a review here. Not a review, just some information. So to you, it's worth the extra $300 because we're hearing a lot of people say, I'm going to use that money for batteries or whatever.
Yeah, no, I think the screen is absolutely worth it because to have a screen that's 2 times brighter than the average tablet, to have a 5,000 milliamp hour battery in the tablet, which is pretty significant as far as size goes for a battery of that size.
So basically what's going on here, guys, is Paul's convincing me that we should go ahead and upgrade and buy the screen with that's what this conversation is actually about.
So all right, let me do my sales pitch here for a second. So Rob, you know that new job that came in for that TV show that we can't mention where I'm going to be filming motorcycles?
Yeah, that actually sounds really cool.
I think it'll
That's
be
a
really
cool
reminds me of
gig.
Wild Hogs, right? Like the
Yeah.
whole Wild Hogs movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the example. It's going to be, let's pretend it's in July, not January, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so just roll with me on this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's July, it's hot outside.
Mm-hmm.
my iPad's not going to work because it overheats. The latency becomes so bad that I can't even actually watch the FPV. So normally I'll switch to my FlySight monitor. But because Ilker, our new producer, is normally filming me and using the monitor for the Z cameras, so he has a bigger screen for all of our production cameras, I will no longer have a monitor that I can use for that remote. So I would have to have the Crystal Sky screen.
Can I call B?
What do you tell me how you really feel?
Nice
Rob.
try. No, I get it. It's cool.
No, it's cool, and honestly, dedicated battery is very cool. The fact that again it's much brighter, I think it's worth it right there because the FlySight monitor, remember, is not a touchscreen monitor. You can't actually control anything from the app. So to have that dedicated screen is actually super helpful.
Understand.
So anyway, we've gone over the obstacle avoidance. We've gone over the new batteries. We've gone over the remote controller. We've gone over the new light bridge system. I'm trying to see if I'm really missing anything here. We've gone over the mechanical shutter. They are saying that, they're going to get a 30-minute flight time. They're also saying that the control range is much longer. So we're going to get 4.3 miles out of this controller, which is pretty significant. So, you know what? I think this camera actually is going to be super beneficial to a certain type of group.
Which
Not
group?
only videographers and photographers. I mean, this is going to take aerial imagery to a new level, but mappers. Because mappers have been needing this detail that's been missing in order to create accurate maps. We could see a revolution in mapping because of the Phantom 4 Pro, simply because of the detail.
So the 20 megapixel gets it over the hump, is what you're saying?
I think so, yeah.
Interesting.
Now we'll see. What we should do is go back to that architecture group that we used to work for, or still work for, and go back there and say, hey, let's map your building again. Let's compare the first model to the second model and see if they're even able to use it.
Yeah, run a little test. That'd be interesting. That's the way to figure it out.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Rob, are you going to be getting the Phantom 4 Pro?
I am, yes.
Oh, okay.
I am really excited about picking this thing up.
Well, we've already got 2 batteries for it, so
We do?
yeah, the Phantom 4.
Oh, right. Okay.
Anyway,
Sweet. We're good to
I'll
go.
save up my Amazon referrals to get some more batteries, I guess. Anyway, guys, overall, we love the Phantom 4 Pro. I really love 4K 60 to speed ramp up and down. Obstacle avoidance is cool, but in my opinion, you can't really trust it. Remember, you need certain lighting conditions and other conditions to make that work properly and great. I love the fact it's a new battery, bigger battery, but we can also use the old P4 batteries for this. That's one thing I love. And frankly, if you're in the business of photography and videography, you're not going to want to miss out on this upgrade. Notice I didn't say that for the Inspire 2, but I'm saying that for the Phantom 4. The Phantom 4 provides so much value for the money. But remember, the limitation is going to be how many days out of the year can you actually fly in comparison to the Inspire 2.
Absolutely. That makes sense. So I'm assuming that, for example, the wind that you can fly in, that hasn't really changed because most of those specs have stayed the same. But one question that pops into mind, and I think I know the answer.
To confirm audio-wise, you're correct. It wouldn't change.
Right. One question that I have is, could you use the camera from the Pro on the Phantom 4?
No. But you could use the Phantom 4 as a new Osmo.
Yes.
No, in the Inspire,
or a trainer for Rob.
In the Inspire 2 video, they're literally holding the Inspire 2 around and like using it as a camera on set, like legitimately.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was incredible. But
Well, we
anyway.
keep saying, here's my thing. We keep saying, all right, Phantom 2, we're going to use that now for training Rob. Oh, wait, we can use the Phantom 3 now to train Rob. Now we've got the Phantom 4 to train Rob.
Hey,
We just don't have time.
You came out to
train
the
Rob.
field when Buffy was here. You could have done some flying.
No. You were on the job. You were training. I'm not going to take her time when she's paying for you.
That's true.
Anyways.
But if you do
we're
want
excited.
in-person flight training yourself, we do have a dedicated course here at Drone U in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where it is sunny 300 days out of the year. So chances are you can get some flight training here.
November 16th, and it is beautiful outside.
It's what? Let's see. 63 degrees outside.
I'd call that beautiful for November 16th. Anyways, Guys, if you do have a question, obviously we covered the P4 Pro today, but if you've got a question that is what keeps this podcast going, send it in, please, to askdroneu.com. We love hearing from you. Still have the offer out there for somebody who sends in a really fun accent that we put on the air. We'll send you one of the Drone U hats that people request all the time.
And if you want a sticker, just let us know.
Yeah, we'll send you some stickers.
Nation. Anyway.
We just got a new shipment.
Awesome, guys. That's going to do it for us today. My name is Paul.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Drone U. Special thanks to everyone who works on the podcast. Rob, myself, Ilker, Ezekiel from Turkey back there. He's actually from Manhattan, Albuquerque, wherever you want to call him from. He's a cool guy.
World traveler.
There's also Kirill from Russia.
We confirm.
That's right. Also special thanks to Mahesh from India.
Yeah, I love Mahesh. Man, what would we do without Mahesh?
He actually sent me a really nice email last night.
Did he? Like saying, what's your address?
Yeah, yeah, that was really cool.
He's a real deal. We got good people involved in this.
Yeah. It's a big group now.
Growing.
Anyway, thanks, guys.